giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom. Welcome in, people. Coming up today, we are taking a deep dive into the how and why I believe this Cowboys offense took a positive step forward in spite of the score. Yes, indeed. I think this was the most creative it's looked. It's the best design, the best game plan in spite of the score. I'm going to tell you why, and we're going to show you on Tape Tuesday. With that said, there's the other side. We'll talk about what they need to work on as well. Plus, in the roundup, we have some kind of quasi breaking. It's kind of some breaking news a little bit, and then we will get an update on the injuries to the rookies that left the game on Sunday. So jam-packed show today, man. Really good show lined up for y'all. Excited to dive into this thing. You know, when the Cowboys, or just in general, not to be Cowboys, but when teams do what we saw on Sunday and between the 20s, it's exciting to actually watch the film, right? It's exciting. It's refreshing. And, man, you see so many things you can build on. I said that on Twitter. Dallas did a lot of things between the 20s to build on. We'll talk about what they got to do once they get down there, but it was the best. I know the score was only 20 points, but I promise you this was the best this offense has looked between the 20s all year, and it's not even close. It's not even close. Farmer Sky, my lady Farmer Sky, man, leave me alone, man. Let's wait, where's my manners, man? It's good, Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
Good morning, Bomb Squad. How is everybody doing on this Tuesday? You know how we do. Monday, we celebrate the victory with the raw emotions. Then we take a look at, how did it happen? Why did it happen? And we talk about that here. We can still get some of your calls, 351-999-3787, for those who didn't get a chance to make it in yesterday. And, and then we'll turn the page tomorrow on to Detroit. But let's go ahead and hit this roundup and get you guys some information on what is happening here at this wide receiver position.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
The Debo look. Let me get the. Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. So as I'm finishing up the show, putting the last bits to the show together this morning, I happened to take a look over, and like I said, breaking news. With the Cowboys sending Brandon Cooks to IR, obviously that's going to take their depth, right? Take away from their depth. So they're going to bump up guys. It's Flournoy who's going to bump up into more, not a starter role, but he's going to play some snaps. He played 10 snaps. He's going to be active. So who takes Flournoy's role, right? Or who takes over that bottom roster part of the role? Well, they're looking into bringing in help, and they've bringing in wide receiver Denzel Mims, the former second-round pick from the New York Jets. Now, he's been all over the place. He was with the Jets for 3 seasons, was traded to the Lions in July of 2023. That didn't work out, waived him the next month. Pittsburgh signed him to their practice squad this past June. And then he was picked up by the Jaguars after they waived. I'm sorry, Pittsburgh signed him to their practice squad. Then he was waived this past June. Then he was signed to the Jags, and then they released him before the season. So he's been everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So he's been in all these practice squads, but he hasn't really played. And it's tough when you talk about second round picks being a bust, but I think second round is high enough to say bust. And Denzel Mims has been a huge bust. Huge. And this receiver was a guy that the Cowboys, or Cowboys fans at least, maybe the Cowboys were looking at him, we're talking about years ago. And you know how the Cowboys do. They always circle back when it's way past time to take a look. Jordan Phillips. So, I don't know if Mims is going to work out, but they do need help, on this team. They need, I say help, they need to replenish their depth at the receiver position. Maybe they don't believe in, who is it? Jalen Moreno Cropper's there, Tyron Billy Johnson. I'm not sure where he's at. But yeah, Denzel Mims been brought in for a workout, or will be brought in for a workout. On to the more pressing matters here. So, Marshawn Kneeland had the scariest injury of them all on Sunday. What looked to be something extremely serious, had to be carted off. But by the grace of God, Marshawn Kneeland avoided an ACL tear. And this is the reports. Kneeland dodged a scare, no ACL tear, but he did partially tear his lateral meniscus, which will get trimmed this week, possibly today. They don't play about that. So that will keep him out for a good bit. He'll likely hit IR. The Cowboys, I would imagine, will have to go out and get someone else. You can't really go into this thing with the same. Look, I think you need help. Just point blank period. You needed it in general. The pass rush was already lacking. Kneeland was kind of that young guy that can give you something. Now he's gone. You'll see more reps from a Lawson, who is at this point in his career should be a rotational guy, but he's likely going to be a starter now. So we'll see if Lawson can step up to the plate consistently. KJ Henry will likely get called up. Tyrus Wheat was already in the game. So who do they go out and get? They'll be scouring practice squads, I'm sure. Potentially, maybe trades, but I doubt they'll do a trade. If they do, it's like a 2026 7th round pick or something like that. They hold on to these picks like gold. I don't see it happening. So maybe a practice squad, maybe a late round pick in like 2 years. But they need to bring somebody else in just for bodies. You're losing a lot of players on that defensive line. Your top 4 defensive ends are gone for at the very least through the bye week. Sam Williams this season, Kneeland 4 to 6 weeks, likely to hit IR. DeMarcus Lawrence out for at least a month and a half, maybe 2. And then Micah Parsons should be returning after the bye week. Hopefully he's healing up as good as possible. And then Tyler Guyton, according to Stephen Jones, was itching to get back into that game yesterday or on Sunday night. He's more day to day. So unless he's healing really slow, Tyler Guyton likely will be back out there this week. And I know there's a lot of talk on if he should. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because, and let me bring you here. It's not as cut and dry as 1, 2, 3 ABC. And here's why, in my opinion. Yes, you can bump Tyler out to left tackle. Now, if Tyler Guyton is out, you can keep that Tyler Smith at left tackle. That's fine. But I know a lot of people say, let's just keep Tyler Smith at left tackle, TJ Bass at left guard. I don't even know if you necessarily it evens out probably, right? Because Tyler Smith, while he's a better left tackle than Tyler Guyton, he's a better left guard than TJ Bass by a mile. TJ Bass is a worse off left guard than Tyler Smith by a mile. Right? So I know it seems as easy. Hey man, just boom, boom, boom. Wait. Tyler Guyton IR. Y'all can't be doing that. Is Tyler Guyton on IR? Did that just happen? But anyway, Professor O, let me know. I get it. On paper, it sounds, and you just get the victory. It sounds great, right? Sounds great. I don't know how you get Tyler Guyton to be better if he's not working through this, right? And again, I'm not saying he's been bad every snap of the way. That's not the case. But he needs time on task. That's for damn sure. And then obviously with Tyler Smith at left guard, I do think you have a fortress in the middle of that offensive line. Okay, that's what he should do. Okay, don't do that, brother. Don't do that, man. So Selly's saying he should go on IR. I mean, if he's day to day, why would you put him on IR? If he's not hurting, if he's not, it's not a situation where he's 2, 3, 4 weeks. No, 3, 4, 5 weeks. No, you want to put him on IR. You need these guys, whether you want them out there or not. You still need these bodies. As you can see, these guys get hurt. Zach Martin goes down. Hoffman has to go in there. Tyler Guyton goes down. Well, we have Bass have to go in there because they have to switch out. Nah, don't put him on IR just cause. Definitely if he's fine. But I think there's more to it. I think there's way more to it than just swapping in and out, especially because at some point we need to get some continuity. At some point, these guys have to work through this. You drafted him in the first round. He's your starter. He's playing. You knew this was going to happen. He was going to go through these ups and downs. And the last thing you want to do is keep playing musical chairs. We saw this in 2021, and we got to the postseason, and the musical chairs bit us in the ass. So, look, if they're going to make a move that drastic, then don't go back. Get in a rhythm up front, because that's been a problem. And to be completely honest, and we'll look at a couple plays, and it was his first game. I'm not even gonna get on Tyler. I'm gonna do it. Tyler was cool out there. Yeah, he's cool, but some of the things that I look at Tyler at guard in regards to the run game were still some of the issues at tackle. And we how long are we going to do the Philbin thing where it's, and I don't look, Philbin was better than Solari. But that specific year, Terrence Steele in, Terrence Steele out. Lyle Collins in, Lyle Collins out. McGovern in, McGovern out. It didn't work out for Dallas. Right? Like that became an issue. Then you got to the postseason, you couldn't figure out who was the best. And, that's what happened. Bass was... How did Bass play? Bass is still the player that I believe he was coming in the sense of, I think he's really good as a pass protector, right? Like, I think he's so smart. He looks extremely comfortable as a help guy, and you saw him dirt a couple people that way. As a run guy, I still don't think he's a mover and shaker in that manner. The second level stuff for all of these dudes is just strange, except for like Tyler Smith, for real. And I say all these dudes, I'm talking BB on down, BB, Bass, Guyton. They're still working their way to the second level in that sense. So pass protection, I mean, as a help guy and a smart guy, IQ guy, awareness, he holds up, I think, pretty damn good. As a run blocker, he's still the same guy to me. But he's a valuable player because he can play across the line of scrimmage in the sense left guard, right guard, step in. So that doesn't mean, I think he is who he is, a quality backup that has potentially to be a starter later down the line, maybe a la Connor McGovern. I'm interested in the offseason. We'll get there with the other cat from Louisiana. I'm interested to see what he can do. That's a mover and shaker right there. But I mean, given who you're going up against there, I mean, it was all right. PFF don't like it, they ain't like him at all. And I get how he gave up 3 pressures in that game in 2 quarters. And he got, and there was a couple plays in the run game, especially at the second level, where you're like, man, if you get that block, this is a big play here. And it's tough. When you're dealing with a Cam Hayward, I get it, man. I get it. It is what it is. But I think Tyler Bass is a quality backup guard. So, That's why he's up. That's why he is the next guy. He's that swing guy in line. Let's go ahead and get to these Sky Optics, what I saw in yesterday's game. For those who are new here, Sky Optics for me is what did I see when I went back and watched the film from the bird's eye view. And right away, almost literally, second play of the game, you saw there was a better intent in this game. There was more intentional motion. There was better concepts between the 20s. I mean, much better. Much better. I don't know if this was because who they playing and they felt like they could do it, but the things that they were doing, if they were doing these things from the rip by week 5? By week 6, I think you would have seen these receivers, this quarterback, these running back, the line, they would have some answers to the things that they're seeing much more sharply. But I loved some of the concepts from a passing game. I love the intentional motion. They ran more intentional motion this game than any game of the season. They ran more orbit motion in this game than they ran in the previous games combined. Why is that important to me? Because you can build off of those things. And you saw like reasoning behind these calls. You saw reasoning behind these motions. It told a story. I talk about that. Are you just calling things, or are you calling things to set it up for later in the game, later in the series, later in the job, whatever? Sunday night, and this comes from John Oney, who works for PFF, pre-M Monday Night Football, the Cowboys were 10th in shift slash motion rate for week 5, 64.5%, which is way above their season average and more than any other week of the season. Now, if you take out weeks 2 and 3, if you want, that's fine because they were getting blown out. But even weeks 4 and 1, and this is the important part here, in weeks 2 and 3, before the game got out of hand, right? The first 15, the first quarter where, you're still out there, you can run they weren't doing these things. Oh, but you can tell they heard the noise. That's for damn sure. They got the message. The message was received, ladies and gentlemen, because the intent and how they came out, we talk about first 15. They're right off the bat. We're going to take a look at it. The second play of the game, we're getting that exit motion, putting these guys in a bind. If they keep at this consistently, this is why I think it's important to not just, we're homecoming for Pittsburgh, we're just going to throw it out here, then we're going to go back to being stagnant. This is why it's important. The more you do this, the more your smart quarterback can see and get these reps and information from these teams on how they're going to defend you. Hell, you saw it in the game. The more they were doing it in the game, okay, bet. I know how this guy's going to play it. So if you do this 5-6 weeks, if this is a part of your offense, this is a staple of what you do, by the time we're week 12, Dak and CD and Jalen Tolbert, Jake Ferguson, by the way, we'll show a couple plays, man. He's so in the zone. These guys are able to now know and see how defenses are going to play against them with weeks and weeks of data. Weeks and weeks. Because as much as I love these concepts and how great it looked, you can also tell that, this is newish to them, that they're doing it at this rate and they're figuring it out. And it still looked good and it still was successful. So you can tell I'm getting jazzed up because it's important to me for this to be a part of your offense, especially when you really have one top level skill player where teams are going to try to take you out. And that's what the Steelers try to do. The Steelers paid a hell of a lot of attention to CeeDee Lamb in this game. And because you got a smart quarterback at the line of scrimmage, and because you had some cool concepts behind it, and because you use motion at snap, pre-snap, orbit motion, all that stuff, you were able to put these other guys in a bind and put your other guys in position for really easy buttons. pitch and catch type easy buttons that you can, or not just pitch and catch, big plays. So I get really fired up about it because I hope it's not a one-off. What they did on Sunday, I think they're like 53% heading into that game. They went up over 11% in regards to shift in motion. If they can live in that 65% range, even with the young core at wide receiver outside of CD Lamb, even with the young offensive line, there's so much you can build off of it. We're going to take a look at it at the tape. Red zone issues. So when you just look at it in that game, you think, the red zone problems were through interceptions, right? Or interception and the fumble. Yes, that was a problem in that. But I think when you peel back the layers of this season, schematically, we are still struggling down there. And I wrote this on Twitter. It's very reminiscent of 2023. The Cowboys were one of the worst red zone teams the first 5-6 weeks of the season, and then they figured it out, right? They've got to figure it out. And I think what's happening right now is not being able to run down there is absolutely killing them. It's killing them. Because what works so well between the 20s, it gets choked off once you get down there. The field shortens. So, when you're running these concepts, these high-low concepts, these flood concepts that are stretching the defense at 3 levels, well, you can't do that anymore. There's no vertical routes to get to. You can't widen or you can't stretch out the defense. Everything is condensed. So now we're running, 3-4 guys into cloud zone coverage, and that's tough to do. That's tough to be consistently good at. We saw this issue last year. In fact, the Arizona Cardinals exposed you in that sense. Absolutely exposed you. It's looking very similar. We don't have an identity down there. Teams know, well, you're not good at running the ball in general. Now, they did last week. Hopefully they build on it. But you're not good. You're not running the ball in the red zone. Like you haven't been good down there. So they're just chilling in zone. You want to get in shotgun? You want to spread it out? You want to send guys into the end zone? Cool. We'll make you go through 7-8 different bodies within a 10-yard radius, 15-yard radius. Cool. So I feel like they need to get an identity in the red zone, under center, more play action, run action type stuff. Stop spreading out teams and thinking that you're just going to find guys running wide open, especially because you get down there, some of that motion stops going on. We don't get the misdirection. It's just we don't have it figured out just yet. I think that's the next step to take this offense to the next level, because between the 20s, what they showed on Sunday, if they continue to do that, they'll move the ball at will against anybody. But can you punch it in? Because we knew this about Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will let you, we said it. They'll let you matriculate down the field. And once you get in that red zone area, the top 5 red zone defense, they're just waiting for you to make a mistake or TJ Watt. And what happened? Both. You made a mistake and TJ Watt. So I would like to get Ferg more involved down there. Jake Ferguson was the most targeted the most targeted tight end in the red zone last season. He hasn't really been a go-to featured guy down there. And honestly, there is no featuring anyone in the red zone. If you really look at it, they're not deliberately trying to get anybody the ball down there. Teams know, all right, if CD Lamb's out here, we'll put a couple guys on him. We'll drop back in coverage, but we'll keep eyes on CD Lamb. They need to find an identity. I think that if they can run the ball, even better. Because now, whether it's out of pistol, which I saw them do a few times, that's a little wrinkle, whether it's under center, whatever, now, okay, the linebackers have to respect it, or the safeties have to respect it, because we're in a shorter area. We're in a much shorter area where teams usually run the ball. The Dallas Cowboys don't run the ball down there. They don't run the ball well down there. So we'd like to see them get Ferg involved. More pre-snap, post-snap action down there, under center more, and just keep that thing going. And then finally, and I'll take a call here before we get to the tape. The zone runs were effective in this game. They were a plus. I am admittedly biased to the zone concept. I'm a huge fan of it. I think it is just so much it helps everyone. If you don't have a just dominant lean on you, Great Wall of Dallas type of line, you can still be effective and productive in a zone run scheme. And the Cowboys were effective in their zone runs. It helps out. You don't have to have a great back. You could just have a back that has a specific set of skills to be effective and efficient in the ground game, right? And their best runs in this game came off of zone concepts. Rico Dowdle had 3 10-plus yard carries in this game. That's more than tripled his entire season. And all 3 of them came out of zone type concepts. Even a little toss or pitch that they ran was more of a zone concept than obviously a power type of concept. So I'd like to see it. And here's why. You know that Zach and Terrence they're going to be fine with their duo blocks, right? These guys have been doing it for years, dating all the way back to Joe Philbin. They're veterans. Zach is a Hall of Famer. They know how to get hip to hip, get to the second level. They're going to be fine. But from Zach on down, right? Like the center, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Smith, Tyler Guyton. Their duo and combo blocks have not been clean all year. And I get it, right? Cooper Beebe is playing a new position. He's still figuring out how to get to the second level off of combos and off of duos. That has not been clean all year. Dealing with guys over top of him and then say, dang, I got to get to the second level. That's been rough. Tyler Guyton, not a known run blocker. He'll try to take your head off if the play is opposite of him and he's got one-on-one out here where he's got to kind of steal a guy off. Yeah, he'll ragdoll you. But he's trying to figure that out with these duos. He hasn't been as clean getting to the second level. Then you got poor Tyler Smith, who's bookended by these rookies, one who hasn't played the position ever, another who hasn't played left tackle in high-level competition. So that hasn't been clean. But you know what? If you can run zone and then you run it consistently, it doesn't have to be clean. It gives the running back 2 to 3 different areas to run. You can go front side C gap, front side A, B, backside A, B. It gives you multiple options. And if you don't win front side, bet. Just make sure we got backside cover. If I compete backside's beat and front side's not, I continue going down to C gap, B gap, or A gap, depending on what type of inside zone, stretch zone, whatever they're doing. I love zone. I thought they did very well in it. I know Chris Collinsworth said something about ditching it or whatever. Cool. You can mix it up, but I think zone fits Rico Dowdle more. I said this last year with Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle. I felt like we were running the wrong scheme. We're running these power schemes, these gap schemes, and trying to get Rico and TP just straight down the middle as opposed to getting a flow with the linebackers. That's the other thing. When we run zone, linebackers are going to flow one way and you can set them up. You can't set nobody up just running right down the middle with Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle. Definitely when you're not doing pre-snap, at-snap motion or action behind it. It's basic stuff. So I'm a fan of it, a little biased towards it. I thought they did a fantastic job in it for the most part on Sunday, and I like to see more of it. I like to see a lot more zone concepts because the more they do it, the better they'll get at it. The more Rico can read it, the more whoever the second back is can read it and feel and get in the flow as they talk about. One last thing on it too. Dalvin Cook is a zone runner. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Just say, run more zone. Now you might actually have 2 backs that can thrive in it. Just saying, man. Happen to look over here. The Jets fired Robert Saleh. Ugh. Well, that's interesting. Well, if the Cowboys are looking for a defensive coordinator, next year. Robert Saleh, he can play. He can. That's the thing with defensive coaches, right? Defensive coaches got a short shelf life as head coaches. They're great. They're great coordinators, great defensive play callers, but as head coaches, it's tough, man. You really got to surround yourself around an offensive guy, and if you can't, and Nathaniel Hackett ain't it, you in trouble. Maybe they're building chemistry, but to say it's not good, I don't agree with. Duke thinks we should be running duo. What's not good? Star, so we have to change the scheme to defeat San Fran. We were zone primarily under Kellen. I would love to get back to like a real zone. Kellen didn't have nothing, man. Kellen was literally, it really is not Kellen's running game. It was Joe Philbin. It was Joe Philbin's run game. Kellen don't give a damn about run game. What Kellen would do is try to 21 personnel, pony stuff. He was getting creative behind it from time to time, just not enough. We don't have an identity on the ground, and I want us to get to one. Duo and power run was not a successful option last year for the running backs that you had. Duo and power run, you're obviously going to use. Like, that's just every team runs it. But what is your identity? We know what San Fran's identity is. We know what before old boy went out, the Eagles' identity was for years. We know what Andy Reid's going to do. We know what Detroit's going to do. We know, hell, what Atlanta's going to do. Keep it a bean, you knew what Pittsburgh was going to do. They have a really good identity. They don't have a good offensive line or good running backs at this point in executing it. Dallas just is all over the place with their run game. This is just the facts of the matter. And they don't have the backs they're not complimenting their backs. Let me just say that. Rico is not a downhill A-gap, B-gap runner unless you're flowing the defense. Zeke is Zeke. I mean, he's a short yardage goal line type guy at this point. That's all you got at this point. Lipke is Lipke, right? But Lipke's not a feature back. So if this is your guy, Rico Dowdle, you've got to play to his strengths. And I don't think his strengths is the power run game. I don't. So they gotta get in the groove here, man. As for them, yeah. Terrence Steele, Zach Martin, they execute the duo blocks amazingly because they've been doing it for a while. But there's no doubt, like, you can't possibly watch the film, look at Cooper Beebe, look at Tyler Smith, and look at Tyler Guyton and see these guys getting to the second level off of those duo or combo blocks at a consistent rate. We are having issues at the second level. What I love about zone is you don't have to worry about anything. You just step left, take your zone step left. Second step is the power step. You either run, you're not running, but you're stepping to the zone. You got your guy, your backside help gets to the second level. Watch Cooper Beebe when nobody's over him and how he can get to the second level when you're running zone. Watch Cooper Beebe when he has to get hip to hip power and then step up and grab somebody's second level. It's awful. It's just bad right now, not consistent enough. And look, I'm not blaming him. He's a rookie center. Asked to do something he was not doing in college. So, they'll figure it out and hopefully get better at it. But that's going to require a few things. That's going to require you to have an identity, right? What is my identity? We're going to stick with this thing here and through hell or high water, whether it's working or not, and we'll work through it. And then once we get to the playoffs, I'm not going to go back off of it. Or, man, this seems to be working. And when we get to the playoffs, let's roll with what's working. Because once we get to the playoffs, the Cowboys, they throw up whatever run game they got going and throw it out the window. I don't want to get there. I want to those last 5 games of the season. I want this run game to find itself so we can have confidence in it into the playoffs and we can keep at it because the Cowboys have been one dimensional for far too long. All right, let's wrap to we got 100 grand on the phone. Let's see what 100 grand talk about. What's good with your 100 grand? What's the plan?
What's good, my guy? What's good, man? Good game. We put up a lot of yards, like I said. We just couldn't I mean, Dak Prescott tried to get an offsides penalty and got a pick, and you got the fumble, but we could have blew that team out, man. We could have blew that team out. We was dicing them up, and the running game had a big part to play in it.
Absolutely.
And I have a feeling we're going to build upon that run game when we beat the Lions. When we beat the Lions next week. So, I got a feeling that run game is going to take a further step forward when we beat the Lions.
All right.
I like the step up. I think we're going to see more motion. I think that's here to stay. I think that's going to be something that gets built upon as well. And CD Lamb is going to get used as a decoy until they start to change. And when they start to change, that's when we go and just kill them with CD again.
I doubt teams are going to change, right? If you like, teams aren't going to not double CD Lamb because Jalen Tolbert is getting busy. Like, teams will let Jalen Tolbert get busy. They're not finna let CD get busy if they play it like the Steelers did. What you got to do is just make sure you take advantage of it, and then when those moments do come for CD, you got to make them count. Right. Which, again, I don't know what's happening in the second halves of these games. I truly don't. But he's not getting involved in the second half. And now they're 3-2, so no need to panic about it. But it's really strange what's happening for the first 5 weeks in the second half of the games.
Question. Now, let's say Jalen Tolbert and Turpin continues. What do you do when Cooks comes back?
What do you mean? What do you do? Like, as a starter, or like just we got to be more
as a
specific.
Starter? What do you do?
No,
what do you do as a starter? What do you?
If you're going to run this specific style of offense, it just fits Tolbert better, right? If you're going to get Cooks back, then you got to use Cooks at what he's good at with his strengths. If you're not going to do that, you got to keep Tolbert. I think Tolbert won the wide receiver 2 job. Personally, I know it may be hyperbolic, but I think he did in that game.
He had a great game. I think he did too. If he didn't, he has an opportunity come the Lions game.
That's true, right? Because if he doesn't do good the next 2 weeks, then we right back at square one. So yeah, he's got to continue to build on that for sure, no doubt.
I would at least give him 3 games before I say he takes the wide receiver 2 spot.
That's fair. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I just feel like for what they're doing with that wide receiver 2 spot, it suits Tolbert better. They're running them to the middle of the defense, a bunch of hooks and comeback routes type situation, and I just think it suits. And plus, if you're going to throw those 9 routes to the sideline down the field, I'd rather do it to a guy like Tolbert, who's 6'1" or what have you, as opposed to 5'10", who's not getting that type of deep separation on the sidelines because he's getting punched at the line of scrimmage. You want Brandon Cooks running overs, running drags, using his speed at the top of these routes to post corner. You want Cooks to keep moving. You don't really want him to stop, and you don't want him to have to deal with guys at the line of scrimmage.
Right. And another question. Do you think Zeke is getting phased out?
I mean, kind of, yeah. His snaps are decreasing. It looks like they trust Hunter Lipke more and more every week. I don't really know what they're... And then they're not using Zeke in the red zone. At this point, forget the discourse. Forget how you feel about the player. Like, what's the point? If he's not going to be in here to be the red zone guy, which... I don't get that. You get down there and you hand the ball to Rico. And that's 2 weeks in a row, by the way.
Mm-hmm. You notice that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then what's the point?
Yeah, everybody notices that.
He's not a threat between the 20s. Hunter Lipke has done a fantastic job as, picking up blocks and leaking out. He can do the same thing, and he's younger and more spry. So I really don't understand what is the thing here with Ezekiel Elliott if they're not going to utilize him. I mean, sure, you can give him 5-6 carries, but he's not. I don't know what he's doing with those carries that's threatening the defense.
So do you demote him and bring up Cook?
Yeah. If he doesn't have a defined role here, and Rico's going to be your guy, you're going to get the ball 10, 15 times a game, I need a reliable second guy. Maybe it's not Cook. Maybe Cook goes out there and looks just like Zeke too, but I'd like to find out. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to find out if I got another option that once Rico goes to the bench, our run game still has some little spark. Now, the run game ain't had no spark in general. Rico was your only guy until this past week, but that still, defeats the purpose. Like you need to have another guy. Rico cannot be the guy you're going to give the ball. What, he touched the ball 23 times? Can't do that every week, bro. Like you need somebody else that can help out and still be somewhat of a threat. At this point, unless you're short yardage or goal line, he's not a threat. That's just facts. I don't care how you feel about him. He's not a threat.
Last question. Do you trade Deuce Vaughn? Because right now, I don't see a purpose.
Yeah, he's on the bench. He wasn't activated. But who's what am I? If I'm another team,
because of the linebackers.
Why would I trade for Deuce Vaughn? Why would I give up an asset for him?
Yeah. Unless you're a team that can't run the football.
Unless I'm a team that knows, hey, my season's over. I want to take a look at this guy. I think we could use him better. I'll give you a 26th, 7th round pick. But if you're okay with that, I don't think. What you think you can get for Deuce Vaughn? Let me ask you that question.
A 6.
I don't know.
A 6. That's what I
Amari
think
Cooper. Amari Cooper won for a 5th.
A 7th. A 7th.
It's Amari Cooper won for a 5th. Deuce Vaughn going for a 6. A 6 in what? 2028.
Yeah, one of those.
So you're going to get one of those basketball picks, a protected 2035 6th-round pick with conditions of playing time that can go to a top of the 6th-round pick. What you getting from my boy, man? You better off,
maybe we could trade for somebody.
You better off keeping him.
Go in the 5th round and do. You better off keeping him. Just put him on the practice squad?
Nah, look, let me say this. Here's a problem. He is taking up a roster spot, right? So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you feel like you can get somebody up here that can. No, he's taking up a roster spot on the 53. So unless you're going to sign somebody's practice squad or trade for a guy you need a spot, I would have to go look at the list of guys I'm cutting before Deuce, right? Maybe he's number 1. I don't know. I got to go look. But I do know that what's the string bean boy from Marshall? Or not Marshall, North Dakota. He's still here, right? Like, so I don't know. Might be somebody else we can cut.
Questions, man.
Good questions, though.
Hey, man, let's just appreciate it. You keep rolling, man.
Thanks, man.
Let's go, man.
Salute.
All right.
One more, then we go get to this film. Los, good morning.
Good morning, Scott, man. I hope you're having a great morning. I know I am. It's a great start. It's fall season. Mavericks are back. Cowboys are playing.
Damn, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Man, it's great to be. It's a great time to be a Dallas sports fan in general, man. But I'll keep my one being, and I'll leave you be, man. I do have a conspiracy of why I think Cowboys refuse to use pre-snap movement and all these things. And I don't know where we are ranked in false starts, holdings, et cetera, especially during Mike's tenure as head coach. But I think he sees or knows with this young offensive line, especially with our center, and we'll see what happens with Guyton. But keeping these play calls simple and some complex plays. But for the most part, I think this offense has to move 60 or 65% on Dak making it work. And I feel this offense can even step up even more if we take pressure off of Dak and helping his consistency with the run scheme, play action possible. And maybe we can hit a receiver on one-on-one or a wide-open scheme catch. Doesn't always have to be CD trying to catch a ball with a defender or two on his hip downfield, right? And I don't know if you saw this Kansas game last night, Sky, but they did nothing special. And however, they were able to dominate yards per play, time of possession. Are you talking about
college?
No, Kansas City. The Chiefs game last night.
I was about to say, you said Kansas. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the game, but I mean, they
Yeah, I
were able
watched
to
it.
like, be efficient on offense, and I think
I don't
that's
know
all
if
by
I call that.
concept.
They struggling offensively right now. They were struggling last year offensively. They're dealing with injuries, but they've got a veteran guy over there in Andy Reid and knows what he's doing, and they got a defense that's amazing. So they're sifting through it. I don't know if they're going to find their stuff, but if they get to the postseason, they seem to always find their stuff. So it's hard. It's hard for me. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Scott. Finish.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. And that's the thing. Like, I would imagine with Rasheed Rice, Hollywood Brown, Pacheco out, you would think Kansas City would have struggled having to move the ball, but yeah, their offense is struggling, but damn, they averaged nearly 460 yards last night, 30 minutes of time of possession, 29 first down.
Who's their head coach and who's their quarterback? And you think they finna struggle moving the ball?
And Andy Reid.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. Mahomes and Andy Reid, they can move the ball. That ain't the problem. Punching it in and taking care of the ball is the problem. And then obviously, if you have to get in a shootout, the weapons are very scarce, but they don't have to because they have a defense. They gave Kareem Hunt the ball like 20-something times, so they realized, look, we don't got it like that. Let's just kind of lean into the run game, play a little clock, and then pack and be pat when it needs to be pat. But, he's turned the ball over a lot this year.
And I agree with that, Scott. I just feel like Kansas is kind of. I'm gonna be honest. Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, Kansas City Chiefs. I feel like I'm gonna be honest. Mahomes is not gonna be another quarterback like Mahomes in the NFL. I mean, he can make throws in and out, but at some moments there are times where he looks human on the field.
Yeah,
but
this
during
year
those moments,
he looks human.
And during those moments, I feel Andy Reid and the coaching staff make it possible where, all right, we see you struggling, let's make it easier on you. But I feel with these Cowboys or anything, we've realized so much on Dak just to put that superhero cape and, all right, let's get it. You put your cape on and let's get us out of the situation. Let's see what you can do. And I just feel we're going to move forward with our offense. We have to find ways to just keep that pressure out Dak. I mean, at least 50-50, But just relying on Dak and 88 all season and maybe Ferguson, I don't know if that's sustainable. And you can leave it at that, Sky.
It's not, man. And that's why I was very encouraged with what I saw. Like I said, man, when I looked at the film, I was encouraged. There was much better concepts between the 20s. There were easy buttons hit. There was more motion. It worked. And that's why I'm such a huge advocate for it and think it needs to be a staple part of your offense in today's game, 100%. Like I said, when one of the GOATs, Luke Kuechly, says, man, this is hard to deal with, especially when there's intent motion, not just the lazy stuff like speed motion, at snap stuff, post snap action behind it. It's tough to deal with. And they took a step in the right direction, in my opinion, Los, in that. I showed the stat prior to this week, they were bottom third in the league in motion rate and shift and things like that. At snap motion is still well below average, but they were way up Sunday night in everything. Shifts, motion, at snap motion, way up. And if they can continue to do that, I think there's going to be answers that these guys will be confident in finding, like it's second nature, right? Like it's just no big deal. We've been doing this for a while. They're not going to think about it. Boom. But let's go ahead and take a look at what I liked in this game. And you're going to see a theme here. Lots of motion is what you're going to see. And right off the bat, they got the memo. You haven't really seen the Cowboys do this kind of exit motion at the beginning of a game all year. And that's why I said you can tell right away that Dallas was not coming out here doing the same ish. 13 personnel. By the way, this is out of 13 personnel. I like this. So when it come out in 13 personnel, 3 tight ends, you can be condensed. You can look like a run formation, or you can spread them out like this. And immediately, second play of the game, you're already tripping up the linebackers. And when we studied the Steelers and we talked about what Shane Steichen did, it was a lot of his personnel sets and his pre-snap motion that really tripped these guys up. So already you see these dudes trying to figure out what's going on. And right at the snap, you're going to get that kind of exit motion. And look, he's froze. I want y'all to take a look at this linebacker's eyes. Why he's not following him, I have no clue. And that's because he's confused on what to do. And he's late. So once you get that exit motion, this is easy buttons. This is easy buttons, man. Bunch formation, orbit motion, and this is basically a long handoff, another easy button. The Cowboys ran more orbit motion. I'll let the player run and we'll run it back. More orbit motion in this game than they have all year combined. And again, once we go back and we watch a lot of these plays, the reason why you do this and you do it as often as you do is because you can build things on top of it and you can get tendencies from the defense. Like I said, within the game, you can tell how defenders are going to play it. And he plays this a bunch of different ways, and the Cowboys play off of that. So here we go. He's shooting. Now, if you notice, he's shooting down immediately. So he's playing under it. Great pickup, by the way, from Jake Ferguson. And yeah, this might only be a 5-6 yard game, but you got those yards back from the, I believe it was a full start. So that's a long handoff. Again, another easy button. And let's see how they play it. I want y'all to keep an eye, like I said, on the defender that will be following him all game in this orbit motion, and then how they run these routes after the fact. Because right now, this is just essentially a long handoff screen, but you're going to see later on how they use Ferg and how they use Tolbert. They're telling a story and they're building on top of it. At snap, exit motion here. It clears a shallow middle of the field, and then there's a build on top of this. Again, a theme. There's that exit motion. We're going to get, I believe, Peyton Wilson follows him out. When Peyton Wilson follows Ezekiel Elliott, that's going to eliminate this middle of the field. Now, I'll let the play run, and I'm going to tell you why there's a nice build off of this. They just have to go back and do it. So this was a play where I think it was a first down. By the way, great catch by Jalen Brooks. Should have been a first down. I don't know why they didn't rule the first down and we didn't challenge it. But here is where the build is. So on this play, they're actually going to run Tolbert up the seam here. And I think kind of this switch, scissors, whatever you want to call it. And they're going to have CeeDee Lamb run a hook. What I would have done here, and especially because the way they are playing CeeDee Lamb, they play so much attention to CeeDee Lamb. Look at the safety and where he's creeping. Look at the safety. He is guarding CeeDee Lamb to the middle of the field because tendencies, right? Tendencies show over the years if CeeDee Lamb's in the slot, he's not motioning. What are you doing, class? He running a slant or he running a post. That's usually what he's doing. So what I would have done here is, because what you're trying to do is clear this middle of the field completely. While by running CeeDee Lamb on a hook, you're not really clearing out this safety. But if you send CeeDee Lamb down the seam, this safety is following 100%, and that's going to leave this entire middle of the field open. Now, that goes back to Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks has a mark he has to run to. Maybe you say, well, do I want to cut this short? No, you don't. It's second and long. Let's run to the seam or run to the sticks. But if you had sent CeeDee Lamb here, this middle of the field is wide open for Jalen Brooks to make an uncontested catch, and maybe Dak can actually lead him. Dak cannot lead him right here. If Dak leads him, he gets his head taken the hell off. So you got to throw it on the back shoulder, and he still takes a hit. So that's why I say there's a build in this. You can build off of this little exit motion, trips left right here, and use CeeDee Lamb as 100 Grand said, a decoy. Well, ain't even a decoy. These boys are just, they know CeeDee Lamb's the guy. Let's pay attention. Well, I bet. Send him out this way, and you got a wide open middle of the field. There's a build off the top of this. This is just, come on, man. This is just 4 and 88 being great. I just wanted to put this in here. Just look at this. That's a beauty, man. That is the only place you can put that ball. Toe drag swag. It's a great catch, man. Great catch, great throw. I just wanted to put that in there. All right, here's one of the zone plays that look, again, I'm biased to it. I think zone is fantastic, especially as your team runs it more often. They get more comfortable with it. Your running backs get more comfortable with it. You'll see 23 good vision here. And this is what I mean by Cooper Beebe. When Cooper Beebe, nobody's over top of him, and he's not having to deal And again, he's young, he'll figure it out. He's not having to deal with any type of, we're going to run a duo and then get to the second level. He can just get to the second level. Here we go. Everybody step. We're running zone. Look, he's getting right up on top of Queen. Now watch what he does to Queen. You're on the dirt, young man. Now run this back because this is Rico Dowdle right here, just with a really good vision. Really good vision. And another reason why I love zone, like I said, you have options. You have play side C, play side AB, or I can cut this back if nothing is there. Rico presses outside, brings it back in, and makes a great cut to find more green grass. I'm a fan of this. Most successful teams on the ground actually run a ton of zone. Most successful teams. And if you don't have a run blocking line that can move people like that consistently across the line of scrimmage, in my opinion, this is the way to go. Especially if you're asking for your blockers to get to the second level off of that power type concept. Again, young guys, hopefully they figure it out. Not sure, but I know in the zone concept, it is not much to figure out, in my opinion. This is from the backside, man. Rico Dowdle, this is a good play here too. But again, this is why I love it. I bet. Zach Martin, not the greatest block, but guess what? Recovers, right? I can't press it. Want to press here. Great cut. Good stuff, Rico. Find the green. All right, this is where, I don't know what it is with Tyler. Tyler's so damn good, but he's so hit and miss on these pulls and counters. I like to get him pulling way out here as opposed to trying to deal with this. But look, this is TJ Watt. So they try to get a guard tackle counter, and it's just ruined because TJ Watt. But I don't want that to take away from the good stuff you see here. Take a look at these guys getting a nice seal. Nice seal. Good stuff here. Who's this? Luke Schoonmaker. Tyler Smith. If he gets this block, this might go for 6. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look this way. You get the seal, and then you get TJ Watt. TJ Watt's a dang menace. Take a look at this full speed. TJ Watt's crazy with it. Watch this. I mean, Tyler Guyton also didn't get any movement too. But, I mean, I'd imagine, though, had he at least was able to get TJ Watt here, he'd been able to press that and get maybe not a touchdown, but he got more yards, obviously. So he just got Watted. Now we're back to the orbit motion. Remember the first time? Number 31 played under it. We're going to go condense orbit motion with the built-in pick, and now the DB is going to play over top of it because of it. Now watch this kind of built-in pick right there. This is another reason why I think Tolbert's just ascending, man. He's just the awareness that he has. Watch the built-in pick from Jalen Tolbert, forcing the defensive back to have to play through a whole lot there, and you get another easy button, right? Now, I didn't point this out last time. This is really a progression read, but if Dak sees something, he can come off of it, but slant here, hook here. My bad, I got the wrong one. Slant there, hook there, and lead blocker out this way with an over route. Keep that in mind because we're going to see that a little bit later. And because you kind of got that built-in pick right there, just that little dip inside, want to play over top, that's green grass right there. Next time we see this play, the Steelers are going to adapt to it. And this is where kind of having that progression read can get you a little bit of trouble. But I'll show you why. If Dak was a little bit more patient, still could have had something when he came back to it. All right, this might have been one of my favorite plays that will go not unnoticed, but will get buried because of what happened at the end of the game. ID motion, 87-1, get a switch release. It's going to trip up the coverage, and then CeeDee Lamb is just going to finish the play downfield. Why is motion so important? Why is shifting? Why is finding out what the defense is in, or not even just that, just making the defense think? Why is it important? Because it makes them have to communicate. All right, here comes the motion. He's looking back. Oh, wait a minute. No, the motion went back to play side. Well, now he's communicating. Hey, he's back on this side. You get up. You whatever their adjustment is, right? And now you have some confusion. And when you get a little bit of confusion going on, you get two guys chasing one player. I love this combination. I love this route combination, by the way, especially because you can attack this out of whether it's zone, whether it's man, whatever. So here's what they're doing. He's, again, running that shallow crosser, which is going to, if you cross face of this linebacker, he's going to react. That's just what's happening. He actually follows Jalen Tolbert, playing man on this side. Going to get that kind of switch release, and he's going to come out on an out. And CeeDee Lamb's going to press on a deep out. So we got kind of a high-low read here. If they decide, get that out of there. If they decide to stay in a zone type of concept right here, say he plays up, he plays back. Well, now we're just reading. We're just waiting for these guys to sift through. So either I'm going to throw this here to Jake Ferguson on the underneath, depending what he's doing, or I got this shot in the turkey hole, as they call it, on the back end. Instead, we trip up the coverage. We got two guys following Jalen Tolbert, leaving Jake Ferguson wide open. Now, this is the fun part. CeeDee Lamb. You love to see that. You absolutely love to see that. But I really do like this play a whole lot because it shows the importance of getting type of identifier pre-snap with your motion. And no tight end, I believe, has more reception so far out of the pre-snap, snap stuff right now than Jake Ferguson. Good stuff here. Build off top of this, right? Like you can build on top of this with different combinations behind it. But I love this play a whole lot because it wasn't just kind of your basic stay there and just run down the field verts. This is all Dak right here. This is just him being a veteran quarterback. 87 wins off the line of scrimmage, 4 holds the safety, and we get the rope to 1. Now, look at the communication happening all over the field here. But Dak is going to peep this safety. First, we're going to do I believe it was like a dummy call. Let's see what they're in. Let's see what these guys do. So, see that? You got to jump. Dak is taking a look at this safety here. Look where his eyes are. They usually can tell you what's happening. Number 1, look where his eyes are. Number 2, look where he's creeping to. See Dak there? That's probably either a dummy call or just saying, hey, we're just going to run this clear. And the reason why I point this out, because they're in a too high look right now, right? But if you're going to double CeeDee Lamb, now the read I got is the safety on the backside here. If he's going to play middle of the field close, all right, bet. I got 1-on-1 on the outside. If he's going to play kind of a cover 2 type situation, I bet I got Jake Ferguson down the seam. And we know, and this is, again, using your tendencies, teams know if Jake is lined up in that damn slot and it's middle of the field open, oh, we going to Jake Ferguson. At the snap, look at the confusion. This is at the snap, y'all. These guys aren't ready to go. But here's the last final detail on why I love this. Watch Jake Ferguson's release. He's going to release out and then in. And the reason why that's important is because he's open now. Jake is open for this seam shot. And because he's open for that, I don't know if that's Minkah Fitzpatrick or Deshaun Elliott, whoever it is, his hips have to be towards this seam because this is option number 1, period. If Freaky Ferg is running down the seam wide open, Dak is usually trying to hit him, even if he ain't wide open. And then you have Dak Prescott holding the safety. And when that happens, once his hips flip, look at all that room over here, bro. To fit it right in that hole. It's just Dak being Dak at the line of scrimmage and everybody execute. Again, at the snap, we want to hold this safety because Ferg is going to win right around here. Once you get them hips flipped, it's pitch and catch, 48-yard reception for Jalen Tolbert. You love to see it. Here's some more zone concepts here and good vision from our guy, Rico Dowdle. And again, even if you don't win front side, right? And they don't. You take a look at it here. They don't win. That's an L. That's an L. So obviously I'm going to press it. I'm going to cut back. Now, the next read, what happens here? I can either run A gap, backside, or I can come backside B. Now we making guys miss, Rico. It's good stuff right there. Shouts out to Ryan Florino. I see you out there, bro. Orbit motion, the defensive back is going to play under this time. And here is where you get into that progression read, or you play above that 2.3. I'll talk about that here in a second. So remember, the orbit motion, I'm going to go here, flip. The read is going to be slant to CD, hook to Tolbert, and then the screen / motion. And it's real fast. Now let the play go and just look how fast Dak is going to go through his progression, and rightfully so, because everything is gone and then he takes off. Now, before we get to the end of the play, read number 1, this is taken away. Peyton Wilson takes it away. So Dak comes off of it immediately. So now I got to see, what is this linebacker doing? He sits on this hook. That's gone, I bet. Well, what about over here to the swing? Uh-oh, that's gone. Unless you believe that Hunter Lipke can get out there. He's already ahead of Hunter Lipke. He has a beat on this thing. So Dak is like, okay, 1, 2, 3. My reads are gone. I got to play above the 2.3. So he takes off. And I know he don't have, eyes in the back of his head. But man, if he did, he would just chill in that pocket and come back to the middle of this damn field. Come back to the middle of the field. But because it's 1, 2, 3, play above the 2.3, move, use your legs. He said he wanted to do more of that. Tries to make a play at me. I don't know how the hell he got it there. He got it there. But this is where you kind of just got to live with the progression type of reads. This is what he's going to do. Is Lamb there? Nope. Do I have the hook? Nope. Do I have kind of that screen on the orbit? Nope. Take off. Go. He didn't really have to. He had a clean pocket. He could have sat there, but that's what's built into this offense, to take off. Wish he kind of felt that there was nothing going on over there and sat there, because this could have been a big play either here, or he could have CeeDee Lamb kind of alter his route and that 2.3 and go up the field. But that's kind of why I wanted to show you. Oh, and I didn't even really get a chance to talk about the DB. But yeah, the DB plays underneath this thing. There it goes right there. And that's why it's not there. But I still like the fact that we're spamming these looks during the game, because you're going to make the opposing team have to adapt each and every time. Snap motion, toss left, 66 cost a big play right here, and watch the pancake on 73. So again, I love seeing this. We don't really run a whole lot of snap motion with the run game. And again, we're telling a story, right? We're setting things up for later. And you're going to kind of get that here with this toss left. If TJ Bass, though, could just execute the block here at the second level, this may not be a touchdown, but this is a damn big play. I believe it's Zach Martin. Yes, watch Zach Martin. Zach Martin's going to take out his guy right here. Here's Zach. Zach's going to take out his guy. Bass need him to come under control a little bit here. If he does that, oh boy, I got nothing but space and opportunity out here, because I'm about to take his head off. Boom! And he was going to take his head off to him. I don't know, man. It might have been a tutty. But also, let me get a shout out real quick, though, to the receivers. Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks is a fine job right here sealing. And then watch Jalen Tolbert. Another seal. This is on TJ Bass, man. If TJ Bass gets to his guy, this is a big play here. But, we're still trying to figure out, the second level blocks right now. Playing above the 2.3. Great adjustment by 23. Step up and deliver. This is the touchdown throw to Rico Dowdle. Rico actually talked about this. He said he was supposed to sit down on this play, but he noticed, if you go back here, that the linebacker fell, or whomever is covering him, safety. He falls. So Rico says, oh, nah, I'm going to just continue my route out and get this tutty. And this is what I mean by playing above the 2.3. They talk about this a whole lot. We get back. 1 Mississippi, to Mississippi. Get out of there. They don't want to mess around with TJ Watt one-on-one. We're getting up out of here. And it worked. This is what Dak and this offense was doing post week 6 last week. You had a lot more movement, and then you had him playing above that 2.3. And then finally, when you are running zone in this manner, right? When you're under center, when your guys are kind of working in that flow, and you're using pre-snap motion, at-snap motion, well, at some point, you're going to be able to get a simple dump off just because these guys are going to be playing to their tendencies. Linebackers are just used to just running with the flow of where the offensive line is going. I'm reading my keys. So the offensive line obviously is going to play or show zone all the way across. And we're going to get the pre-snap, at-snap, right? Look at everybody. Every single last one of these players are flowing this way. So what do? Great sell job by Brevin Spanford, and you get an easy pitch and catch. Now, what's nice about this, and again, this is what I like to see this more than the naked. What usually happens right here, not usually, but sometimes, this is just going to be naked. These guys are going to just get out in a route right away, and you're just saying, hoping like hell that TJ Watt bites on the zone. Instead, we're going to get him out on the route, right? And we're going to sell the block and dump this thing off. Now, if TJ Watt reads this and he plays back, well, guess what? All right, cool. I got all this room and space and opportunity to chill, settle down, bow, and hit my guy. But there was no need to come off the second read. He was wide open, or off the first read, he was wide open. So that's kind of, telling the story throughout this game. What Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott were doing, I thought was fantastic. You might say, well, they only scored 20 points, Scott. Fair enough. They only scored 20 points. That's because we're still trying to figure out this damn red zone. Yes, the turnovers or what have you, although one was on third down, take the sack, you're still kicking a field goal. The other one, maybe you could have scored a touchdown, but they haven't been scoring touchdowns down there at a consistent rate. Once they develop an identity down there in that red zone and are able to score at a higher rate, now we're talking about this offense looking more post week 6 last year. Don't like that it takes to week 6, but this is encouraging. I think this is a positive step forward, and that was a good defense. Now, granted, again, they didn't score a lot of points. That was a good defense. Detroit, they may not be a juggernaut. They're going to play tough, though. They play tough for their guys. San Fran is San Fran. You're going to see Houston's a damn good defense. You're going to see some really tough opponents later on in the season. And if you can get in the rhythm, you're going to need these motions and shifts and misdirections and this run game all to start clicking at the very least so that these guys can prepare for it. Because if not, you'll be stagnant against these better defenses. You'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble, in my opinion. I just saw Foots come here. Foots, you the OC, bro. You the OC. We did. Somebody had posted on Twitter, or maybe it was Foots who did it. Was like, I think he said he was basically talking about how certain creators could be coaches and whatnot. I said, look, I want to be in the front office. I'll leave y'all to do the coaching. Let me be in the front office, man. I'll give y'all the groceries to cook up with. Sorry for the long-winded breakdown, man, but I told you I was excited about what I saw in between the 20s with this team. It's a lot to be excited. It's one game. Let's not take our foots off of their necks, right? Like, let's continue to bully them into being more modern and consistent with it, because the more it's put on tape, the more they actually do it, the more comfortable this team will be with it. And you got a smart quarterback, man. You got a really smart quarterback. Get him in a rhythm with this stuff. I saw, and look, we don't like the dude. A-Rod don't even like motion. Matt LaFleur came in here, and it's an article. You can go back and read it. He said, yeah, it works. There's no doubt about it. I'm still learning it and figuring it out, because for 13 years under Mike McCarthy or whatever it was, they didn't like it. They didn't do it. He was opposed to it. Mark McCarthy was opposed to it. They didn't want to fool with it. But he won back-to-back MVPs once LaFleur got there, because it was just easier for him. So I think Dak is that smart. So if you continue to do it, and now this is second nature, bet this linebacker is going to push out. Or here's this play action with the snap motion. I know one or two things is happening out of this look. It's going to be easy work. Easy work, man. All right, let's let me take a sip of this water real quick, take a quick break. We'll get back to the phone lines, talk to y'all in the chat. Now, when I say a sip of this drink, I ain't talking about specs. I don't want to be drinking on air with you, man. But if you're looking to get the perfect bottle or plan for that perfect watch party, head on over to Specs. It's your one-stop location for unbeatable selections of beer, wine, and finer foods. They have great prices, expert advice, and the best brands. You can find it all at Specs. Hey, if you can't go there, download the app. They've made it easier on game day by giving you same-day delivery or curbside pickup. You can shop online or go through their app and easily plan your next order at your local Specs. Cheers to you. Cheers to savings.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions.
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. That's one thing we're going to do. Tape Tuesday, we're going to do it live. That was a fun one, man. That was a fun one. We got Willie Ways back on. And 858, I'm going to get to y'all. Oh, that's Rohit. Shouts out to. We'll get to y'all in a second. Let me just make sure. I missed something over here. Okay, bet. Cool. We got a couple of them. All right, let's get to our MC, man. Willie Ways, not Mays, not to say hey kid. What's good with you, bro?
What's good with you, man? What's good?
I'm good. How you feeling?
Doing all right, man. I see we was talking about the offense, and something tells me I think on our offense, I think our offense will only go as far as Tolbert, Turpin, and Lipke are willing to grow in their role, because they are some athletic, yo, and they could be a real X factor in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that usually when someone says the offense or defense will only go as far as, it's usually with your best players. But I get what you're saying. I get the basis of what you're saying. You're basically like, hey, man, we're going to need these role players to be a factor week in, week out, because teams are going to try to take away, CD and whatnot. And look, I agree. I think those guys definitely need to every week be a part of this thing. And maybe even more this year, because I don't know what it is, but last year, Dak and CD tore up man coverage. They absolutely tore it up. Anytime they were one-on-one, he was getting loose and he was just crushing teams. This year, only, I believe, a 37% completion percentage when targeting him in man coverage, down from 70% last year. And that's from Next Gen Stats. So if that's going to be the case, right, if you're struggling to get your guy the ball consistently, especially in the second half, then yeah, Tolbert, Lipke, Turpin, whoever, Brevin, right? Brevin Spann-Ford had 2 big catches. All these other guys have to step up to the plate for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And only reason I said it go as far is because CD gonna do CD, how I see it. Like eventually he's gonna find his stride. Every year I see him getting tougher when he catches, like the yards after the catch, he'll put a shoulder into a dude. You know what I'm saying? And
he'll run you over.
He's gonna do him, but I think in terms of what we got with the team, with the injuries, I think our X factor and the way we're gonna keep other teams on our toes and making them respect us is utilizing Lipke a little more, utilizing Turpin, and utilizing the others, you know what I'm saying? And maybe even doing some multiple tight end situations too, because I think we got a lot of athleticism in our offense. Those folks can make some plays, man. They really they really show out when the time comes sometimes. So I think that might be our real X factor to really try to have some type of positivity going on and winning in this season.
Yeah, man. Got to use what you got. It's kind of what we were talking about coming into the season, and I get it, man. I would love to have another dominant wide receiver or whatever, but it's not like when you actually took a step back and you saw, man, Turpin, you can do stuff with Turpin. Cooks, he's hurt right now. You can do stuff with Cooks. Hunter Lipke, you can do things with Hunter Lipke. I talked about it as being that quasi Kyle Juszczyk, John Kuhn guy, right? John Stevens ain't even been used just yet, right? John Stevens, maybe at some point, maybe he'll get involved. Ferg is Ferg, right? Then you got Lamb. Like you got players that if you can put them in position to succeed, they can reap the rewards and make teams pay. Turpin being one of them. But that just, to me, wasn't the case early on. It was just kind of just ABC, 1, 2, 3, basic type of stuff. And they weren't doing all these things to put these guys in positions to succeed. Sunday, they did that. And you saw what happened. Nice screen call to Lipke. Turpin was involved. Turpin was a part of this offense. He even got a deep shot, and then Tolbert showed out. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, I think that's really it's something to tell me, like, because I think they got a lot of talent, man. If we can kind of get creative with the play call and take a little bit of risk, because we ain't throwing away the season, but we understand that we got a lot of adversity. So we might as well. We got the young cats getting there. Let's go ahead and get creative and maybe start to formulate a new type of style so we can kind of try to get on the good foot, man.
Or just keep using the plays that work. Right, like because they're not going to have a new offense. Clearly, this has been in their wheelhouse. They just refuse to just put it out there right away. So now that it's out there, it's one game. I mean, we need a couple games, obviously, right, to build. But if it's out there, okay, let's keep at this. This needs to be who you are. Obviously, it's in you because it's on your play sheet. Now allow it to be who you are and make teams have to adjust to that, because teams wasn't adjusting to a damn thing the Cowboys were doing. Not prior to this week.
Right. So indeed. That's what's up, man. But yeah, I'll let you do your thing. Check your IG, man. Don't forget I got them bars.
Oh, did you hit me?
Check your IG, get with me, man.
When did you hit me?
I hit you right after the show. It's one of them. I mean, it ain't been active in a little while, but it's
oh, you know
still,
what?
right?
You might be in the request dip. Let me see. Oh yeah, I see you, bro. I see you. See, IG got the. I don't be on IG like that. They got the primary general request and all that stuff. Got you. I got you, brother. I'll take a look after the show.
No doubt. All right, man. I'll get at you.
All right, salute. Good stuff right there. That was weird. Good stuff right there from Willie Ways. Let's go to Roll Hit. What's up, man? Good morning.
Morning, Sky. How's it going?
It's going fantastic. How are you, sir?
Doing good. It's me, Rohit. I gotta say, man, long time listener of the show for at least a year now. You are the hottest sports talk, Dallas Cowboys talk, NFL talk show in the morning.
Wow!
Like, ever since I started listening to your show, I stopped listening to First Take and Undisputed. I don't even know if that show's still on air anymore. But yeah.
Man,
shout out to you, man.
That's heavy, brother. I appreciate that, Rohit.
Are the best. And
thank you, brother.
I gotta say, after that game Sunday night, I thought I was watching college football with all the motion. We were all the different variations of motion that you just went through. Like, Mike McCarthy was in his bag.
He was.
Like,
he was.
He really was. And, I know we left points on the board. Like, I felt like as I'm watching the game, we should have had over 40 points against the Steelers. And I'm thinking, it's like that kid when they're playing Madden or college football back in the day, and they're surprising themselves as how good they're playing, that they're just getting that sweaty palms feeling on the controller, that they're just like shooting themselves in the foot, but they're still winning the game. Like,
it's funny, Rohit. I never felt until the fourth down play, but I never felt that this game was out of hand to where we're not going to win it again until the fourth down play. I was like, oh man, this is nervous now, do or die. But even with the mishaps, I'm like, man, we're moving the ball. The defense is doing good enough. They gave up the lead change, but I can't be too mad at it. And I just felt like we're going to go down there and win the game. And that's why, like, when watching it live, I said, man, something feel different between the 20s. Like, I obviously don't have the tape to see it, but it was completely different. A 180, I think, from top to bottom from what we saw for the first 4 weeks. And if they can build off top of that, I do think eventually the red zone will get figured out. This same exact thing happened last year. It will get figured out, and they'll score some points. I would love to see them get it figured out against the good defenses, though, right? Because you're going to run up against these good defenses. And if you can say, hey, on tape, we went out there and beat the Niners and whoever else, or at least was successful in the red zone, that'll give me a ton of confidence. Because if we're successful against bum defenses in the red zone, that really does nothing for me.
Absolutely. And then for this defense, when you're down your top two defensive ends, plus you lose Marshawn Nealand in the middle of the game.
Yeah. And your defense, and Deron Bland. He going too still.
And Deron, yeah, and you don't even have Deron Bland for the game. And you're still able to shut down Pickens, and you're able to contain Fields for the entirety of the game. Like, I know he had like a few runs here and there, but like
he had no.
For the most part, you made him.
He didn't do
like he had no turnovers, but he was the least effective quarterback for the whole night. Like,
yeah, he ain't do nothing,
bodes
man.
well going the defense. Like, I said going into the game, I said this to whoever was willing to listen to me. Like, Justin Fields does not scare me. The Steelers don't scare me. Like, as long as we just don't, as long as we fucking show up. Pardon my language. As long as we just show up to the game and we're breathing, we should win this game. And I know that's not like astute analysis, but like that's how I felt about the Steelers' offense. Like,
yeah, I did. The offense to me wasn't. I wasn't worried about the offense. It was defensively.
Yeah.
It was don't let T.J. Watt wreck the game, and just score points. I felt like if they reached 20, which ironically that's how it happened. But if they reached 20 first, the game would be over because I just did not think the Steelers' offense was all that good. I just didn't.
Right. Yeah, and like I've reiterated since Friday, like this was protect your neck and protect your neck energy that the Cowboys went with. Like, and honestly, like to your take on Friday, this is what that's the song the Cowboys really need to be coming out with the players at AT&T. Protect your neck. Like, that's the energy they need to be coming out with. Like, at AT&T, like, imagine, get the crowd going. It's got it's got what the Joneses want too. The 90s nostalgia with like the 90s hip hop, and it's got the raw beat. It's got the lyrics that get the people that are lyricists.
I'm with it.
It's got.
I'm with it. I'll take anything over Thunderstruck at this point. I'm with it.
Hey, and the cheerleaders would be able to get down with it too. Like, everybody would be able to get down with "Protect Your Neck" from Wu-Tang at AT&T Stadium.
Let's go, bro. Let's go.
That's got to be the theme music for this team. Protect your neck.
Hey, Rohit, appreciate the call. I think this is the first time I've heard you call in, man. So feel free to call in more often. Thanks, bro.
Will do.
Salute.
Thank you.
Rohit said he wanted that Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing with. Yeah, we're talking about the red zone, and I just went again. This is like my fifth time just strictly watching the red zone snaps, and I'm just like, before I say this, I want to make sure this is accurate. I am not exaggerating. There was one play where there was an open wide receiver down there. And it was the play where Jalen Tolbert tore his nuts, right? It was one play. Even the touchdown, which I don't even mind the call because you got them to chase, we showed it yesterday, you got them to chase CeeDee Lamb. But even the game-winning touchdown was a contested catch with a dude draped over his back. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being hyperbolic. I promise you, one play. You didn't run down there. You were terrible running the ball down there, right? I mean, you probably had less than 7 yards if I go back here and look at it, unless you count the Hunter Lipke like 4-yard gain on 3rd and 16. But when you have one play out of, how many does this run down here? 14. Where it's been easy, if you want to call it that, you know. And that was the play before the game winner. Jalen Tolbert and Jake Ferguson kind of run a high-low, if you want to call it. Ferg runs to the back of the end zone. Or not Ferg. Tolbert runs to the back of the end zone, and Ferg kind of sits down in the front of the end zone. And Tolbert's there. You hit Tolbert at the game's over, touchdown. And obviously he didn't. That was it, though. That was it. And, you know, you go back and you watch a little bit more. All right, cool, let me go see. Because this game, you know, one game is one game. There's a thing. Teams are just like, oh, this is what you want to do? Cool. Sit back and relax. After week 1, the only team that really was out here playing arrogant ball against you in the red zone, or not after week 1, was in week 1. Schwartz was like, oh, yeah, we're gonna send a cover 0 blitz to Dak Prescott in the red zone. Oh, bet. Money. He would love for you to do that. Since then, teams are like, well, they're not running. Not really targeting CD Lamb down here, but we're going to keep an eye on him. Let's just drop back, play cloud, keep things in front of us, and make them have to go through a bunch of tight windows with 7-8 dudes in coverage. That's tough. That's really tough to do consistently to score some points like that. So, you know, again, we're 5 weeks in. Dallas has not scored 3 offensive touchdowns just yet. And I think a lot of that has to do with them not being able to convert in the red zone. But the hope is much like last year where they didn't figure out, or at least they kind of broke out of their shell and said, okay, we're going to be more motion and more this and that. And Dak is going to use his legs more. After week 6, they did it here in week 5 in regards to motion and stuff. Hopefully the red zone picks up like it did last year. I was going to watch a lot of the red zone plays last year post like week 6. I didn't have enough time this morning, but I'll make a little project of me just to see like what are the successful things they were doing. I do know targeting Jake Ferguson down there was huge. Jake had the most targets. I missed the fade shot, right? Like we don't really have a jump ball type of. I know Dez Bryant's been since Dez for real. But I've seen Dak do it to Gallup. I've seen him with Coop. They don't really like running it with Lamb. I don't know why. Lamb can go get the rock, man. They don't run it with Lamb. So maybe you involve 6'7" Brevin. Maybe you involve not span 4, but you involve John Stevens. Then I'm talking about the pass game. But bottom line, if you can run down there, that makes everything easy. So they have to definitely get better running the ball down there. So, all right, let's wrap to Magic City. Marv, what's up with you, Magic City?
What's up, fam? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. You make good sense. The offense going to start getting. Now, if you keep doing them plays like they did next week, keep doing it, but you run something else out of it. Because they're going to be like, okay, we know this play, but it ain't that play. You know what I'm saying? With Turpin, use Turpin on deep routes. Start using Turpin like the New Orleans used number 22.
Shaheed had another deep touchdown last night.
Yeah. You got to do that. Start. But now, another thing, Dak, you need to be watching the quarterback from Kansas City. When ain't nothing there, use your legs, brother, and run for 5 yards, 6 yards. Don't get cute. If you know that pressure coming, just run, man, and get down.
If he can. Dak can't run like that no more. So, I call for a little bit more running, but I see why he don't. That boy bust slow as molasses. Just so I play above the 2-3. Like Dak can scramble and make plays with his legs.
Yeah.
Like that's cool.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's continue to do that. Play above the 2-3. What I would like to see him not make a habit of. I need to see him not make a habit of this because I saw him do it in Pittsburgh twice. He did that fade shit, and it cost him. It cost him a sack, number one.
Yeah,
a sack fumble, and then it cost him the first possession of the game. He's fading. If he just kind of steps up a bit or just trust that pocket in front of him, which I think some pressure eventually came. Hunter Lipke on the dump off. He faded, and tried to, and I get it. He thought that the route was going to send the middle of the field defender up and he'd have Tolbert, but he didn't, and it was an incomplete pass. But I don't want to see him fading like that. Too much fade.
No.
Step up.
On that strip sack, it wasn't going to be a sack. If he just would have ran up the middle, the hole was right there. You'd have got like 3 or 4 yards and get down. I ain't talking about Bill. Just get out the way, man. You got to start thinking. Don't keep fading back. Because 7-8 was pushing 90, and he did his job, but Dak kept going to the back cap and trying to be cute, and that's how he got a strip sack. That was on him. I ain't going to blame them other guys.
Oh, but, no, that's on Dak. Get rid of the ball. Nothing was, and even on that play, if you go back and watch it from the bird's eye view, nobody's open. So, Dak, if nobody's open, bro, ain't nobody breaking open. Either take the hell off or get rid of that thing because you can get 3. Yeah, we need 3 right there.
Don't worry about trying to,
There was, like, if you go watch it, bro, there's no reason to fade, hold the rock. Nobody's coming open on that short side like that. And as much as I think he can make every throw in the world, that's going to be a tough throw to be fading like that and try to zip it in somewhere in a tight window. He's done it. I can get it. But, my boy, it's early in the game. Get these points.
Yeah, because what happened, if he just ran up the middle of the hole, now, them linebackers, we keep doing that, just run 3 yards, get down. 4 yards, get down. Now the linebackers going to start, they're going to start watching. Now, that play you want to throw to is going to be there because the guy is watching you. And then I like the running play they was doing. Good running play. The scheme, what they did, they start is playing power football instead of doing that, what you call that? With the offense, with the offensive lineman. Which the dude said they changed their running.
Oh yeah, Collinsworth said abandon the zone stuff and get back to power, but they actually had their best runs were out of zone.
Okay,
they had three 10+ yard runs in this game, and all of them were out of zone concept. So I don't know why he said that, but obviously this team runs a combination of both. But when you go look at the success in that game and just in general, they don't run enough zone. I don't think they run enough zone. And then again, like I said at the start of the show, they're still trying to figure out, at least the left side, how to hit those combo blocks, those duos, and get into the second level. Second level blocking has been poor for this team. Whereas, in my opinion, if you run more zone, you don't have to worry about that, but it's a little easier. For instance, zone carries for Rico Dowdle, I think he's like 26 in the league.
Yeah.
So Cowboys don't run a whole lot of it.
On one play, BB, if he just would have waited, he shift, they ran it, and I seen BB, he went too fast, and that's why he couldn't get that. He was the last block. If he'd have got that block on this one guy, that would have been like a 30 or 40-yard game. And it was only a 6 or 7-yard game. So they still got to wrap that up. Against Detroit this week, Detroit, they can score 30 on Detroit. They're going to score 30-something on Detroit. Watch what I tell you.
I haven't watched them yet. You know me. I got to go watch them, go study them, and see what's going on. But yeah, man, they back at home, and I think the difference in this one going back home is, and you heard Mike say it, we got to get our first home win. There's no just going to the crib and kicking up, put your hands in the back and like, yeah, we good, we at home. No, you got your ass whooped twice at home. So
3 times.
There's going to be, I'm pretty sure, you're going to see more urgency out of this team coming out the gate. I don't think you're going to see them just out there sleepwalking in this game, especially because Detroit ain't going to let you sleepwalk. You know they pissed off after what happened last year.
And another thing, like I told friends, like the first 2 games, the second and third, we was getting the defense ready. The defensive line wasn't ready. But what I think would happen, number 93, I said, okay, he got his rhythm now. The big D tackle.
Oh, Linval?
Yes.
He bullied my boy.
In shape, y'all. Yeah, because I see a difference. Because now he's using his power and he's playing, and he got Mozzie playing the scheme right, 97, and them young DNs, they coming, y'all, and our corners, the defense about to be really good because they playing controlled football, and sometimes you give up plays, but they not getting beat. Now the safety's getting better. They still got to get a little bit better.
They got to get better in the red zone. The Cowboys' red zone defense has not been good. And, play the bend but don't break. Now, it was against Detroit, Daniel Jones, kick a bunch of field goals. But, it's so weird. It kind of gets overshadowed that as good as this defense played, we forget they gave up the game-changing defensive touchdown, right? That put them up. They could have gave up the game-losing touchdown. But fortunately, they did enough between that to where, all right, cool, you might have scored your little touchdown, but guess what? All we got to go do is down there and score a touchdown. So, this defense is still work in progress, and it's tough to really judge them with all these injuries, man. D-Law out, Sam out, Nealon's gone now, Micah's gone, Deron Bland. Like, that's tough, man. And you ran up against an offense that was perfect for you. You ran up against an offense that wasn't good. That I thought they'd be able to shut down that run game. It's not a good quarterback. Get some confidence for these boys because the offense you're going to play this week is an entirely different animal. Animal. So I'd rather them come off a game, whether you was playing a JV high school team, I don't care. A game where they played well enough given the circumstances that they have this confidence now moving forward to where they go out there, they have to play with that confidence because last year you had your dogs against this offense. This year, you're not going to have 1, 2, 3 of the top guys in that game last year. You're not going to have in this game.
Yes, because this is one of the best offensive lines in the
one of the best offensive lines, one of the best play callers. They got weapons all over the place. This is a great test. Great test.
They don't have to worry about now. He will run, but he's not a running quarterback.
Well, I think I was texting. Who was I texting? I might be texting Foots this. Before all the injuries, I was like, yeah, man, that's a good thing about old boy is he's flat-footed. He ain't going to run nowhere. But guess what? You ain't got pass rushers anymore to really chase after him like that. Like your pass rush when it was pure dropping back, it wasn't good last week. I didn't expect it to be good because you're without guys. Now you're without more guys. So I don't really expect them to pressure him that much from just a pure Wilson 4 and expect our defensive ends to get a bunch of pressure. That hasn't been their MO in general, and I'm damn sure won't be their MO without their best 2 guys. So this is going to be one of those games where Zim, turn up that heat. Crank that thing up a little bit. Make Jared Goff have to think with those double A gap mugs. You haven't seen a lot of that. No, Micah's not here right now. Send the corners. Do what you got to do to get him off the spot with some creativity. Because if it's just rush 4 with Tyrus Wheat and Chauncey Golston, Carl Lawson, and KJ Henry, you're not going to get a lot of pressure from them exterior guys. You'll need Osa to be a dude in the middle. You'll need Linval Joseph to be a dude. You'll need, you know what I mean? So I don't foresee it unless they dial it up.
Yeah, I think, and the good thing, number 27, know the offense because he played with him last year. The
Amani?
Corner that we got. The corner, yes. He know the.
It ain't much to. He not in their meetings, my boy. Like we played them. We know they offense. Bro. We literally just played them less than a year ago. Yeah, we know they offense. We got 5 games now filmed. They know enough. They know enough what's going on.
Yeah, we know the offense. And then Zimmer played them before anyway too. So the good thing though.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna beat them. I think we're gonna score 30. We're gonna score 30 something. Y'all gonna be shocked. And then Dan Lipsky, the hater, I want to see what he say.
Who?
Because Dan Orlovsky.
Oh, Orlovsky. Yeah, man.
Oh, I can't stand that guy. He don't like Dak Prescott. I always make an excuse. And he always make an excuse.
Don't even give them no life, bro. I ain't finna give them no life.
We beat them 38-13 this week. What are you gonna say?
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Hey, appreciate you, Marv. Somebody else snuck up in here. I'm gonna get to them here in a second.
Great, you brother. Have
Yes,
a
sir.
blessed day, man.
Salute.
And shalom. Shalom.
Yeah, look, I see what's happening out here in these streets with Danny O and Shannon Sharp and whatnot. I stopped giving that life a long time ago. A long time ago. You guys, look, I mean, I get it. There's creators that hold them accountable in that way. That's their content, and that's cool. I just do not have a single to give about the national media's opinion anymore. It used to get to me 100%. I ain't gonna lie. I told y'all the reason why I'm doing this is because I was like, man, they not really covering us right. This is lazy. This is popcorn microwave. What is this? And I craved more football. I've craved more knowledge of my team and so many different things, and they just weren't giving it to me. And it just got worse and worse with the debate shows and things like that. And then once I stepped into this lane, I still never veered my content towards proving them wrong. I veered my content to giving you guys what I thought Cowboys Nation wanted, and that was more details and depth about your team. But then social media continues to grow, sound bites and hits, and it's like, oh, if you actually do come at them, that can be very popular and successful. If you care. I don't care, man. I don't even watch these dudes no more. I sit back and laugh on Twitter, but I promise you, and I'll swear on this until my grave. I used to say stuff like in my teens, in my 20s, man, I bet you I can take down whoever the analyst is about the Cowboys. Maybe not about the Jaguars, maybe not about the Bengals or whatever. 18-year-old me, I bet you put me in front of him, I'll tear you up. Because I can tell you these little details that was going on with the Cowboys that you just don't. They're not really watching the Cowboys like that, man. They're giving you fluff. They ain't giving you fodder. They're giving you the easy stuff to get cavities with, the sweet stuff. There ain't no substance in none of that. So, I truly don't care. And plus now it's so deep in the community, so many other people can handle that. Let them rock. They'll crush these dudes. They don't need me to do it. They crush them. All right, one more here. 351. What it do?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, I applaud the defense, especially with the defensive end who got hurt, plus the other guys getting hurt even beforehand.
Yeah.
Here's a question I'm wondering. I wonder what kind of defensive tackles we would have if we had Ridgeway, Ozzie, Mozzie, and Rogers.
Who's Ozzie? Who's
I
Ozzie?
wonder the defensive tackle who normally plays as D3 for Dallas.
Ozzie? Oh, you said if we had Ridgeway, Ozzie, and Mozzie?
Mozzie and Rogers,
the
defensive tackle from this last draft who we let go. I wonder if
Justin
that would
Rogers.
not be a good young nucleus as far as defensive tackles.
Yeah, I think it's a better nucleus than you have now, young nucleus than you have now. I don't even think you have a young nucleus. You know what I mean? Like they just have Mozzie for if you're talking about nose tackles, it's just Mozzie. I don't know why they got rid of Justin Rogers. They probably tried to sneak him back, but I would have liked to see Justin Rogers kind of work his way. So I could agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. I think them even allowing Rogers to be available is why we lost him. As well as it didn't show that Dallas actually cared about him because he was doing better during the preseason.
Yeah, I didn't think he put bad tape out there. I just don't know what they were thinking.
Mm-hmm. Also, I applaud how much they changed the offense, but I don't like the fact that I'm not helping Guyton for one. And here's a question: why don't they run to the left? Wouldn't that be more of a strength for BB Smith and Guyton, as well as it would give some confidence and take off pressure.
Well, let's see how much they run
for Guyton.
So I don't think Tyler Guyton's a particularly good run blocker, but that doesn't mean you can't put him in positions to be good, right? I think what he does best in the run game is get out in space and deal with kind of sealing off guys. Like he'll manhandle you if his design is to just seal, just take a step, turn, and now I got you one-on-one. Yeah, he's great with that. Get him out in space. Now he can run down a safety, linebacker, or corner. Yeah, he's great at that. But dealing with trash in the phone booth, he's still working at that. That wasn't his game. He played the Big 12. Them dudes didn't even do a lot of that. But yeah, I can go see real quick exactly what side they're running to. Plus, as much as I love Tyler Smith, the combination of Zach and Terrence is probably your best run blocking side, right? I'm pretty sure. Terrence Steele is one of the best run blocking right tackles. Zach Martin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I knew Terrence was good at run blocking. He's just not as good at pass blocking.
Yeah, his strength is run blocking.
I just wasn't sure if that side was as that great. Probably, I agree with you that they're probably better. But like I said, I'm just wondering if the left side with BB running it would not help Guyton have more confidence. And obviously,
well, you keep saying BB
doesn't at that point have to worry about.
What you mean, like BB pulling to the left? Because BB's the center, right? So,
yes. That's what I'm saying. As far as the three of them blocking to the left.
Oh, it's okay. Well,
if that one helped Guyton.
If they I'm gonna go back and watch more of Guyton early in the game and more previously, but if we're talking, like I said, like zone type concepts where, we're running a zone left, wide zone left, inside zone, which you haven't been great at inside zone. I'm not a fan of that, but kind of that stretch zone type stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're stepping left. Now you're giving your running back, I can stay play side, C gap outside, or cut it up to the AB, or go backside AB. I think that will help them 100%. What they're asking them to do is something they have not done. So there's going to be ups and downs and growing pains. Obviously, the more they play together, I'd imagine, right, that they will get better at it. Better to the point where they're just grading people, road grading people, and they're this amazing run team. And I don't know about that just quite yet. I got to see that. But what can you do to help these young guys in the run game? More pre-snap stuff, post-snap action. I think lean more into what Rico Dowdle does well, and that's zone stuff. And that'll help those dudes.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's another question.
In closing, yep.
Obviously, looking at, I want to say the Giants game and some of the other ones, Guyton has been given up the inside. What is Solari?
That's his MO.
Shouldn't he be letting him know? I don't care if you let a sack happen because they went around you, but they can't go on the inside of you.
Yeah, I would hope.
Does that make sense?
No, that makes a ton of sense. But I would hope that Solari sees that and they're coaching that. I think what happens sometimes with young guys, they kind of fall back into to old bad habits, right?
Old habits.
And what you saw with Guyton in college, and you saw with Guyton in preseason / camp, is teams were hitting him with that inside. Like good rushers will, fake the up shoulder rush, boom, they come back inside, and it's been tough on the kids. So maybe he's just falling back into old bad habits in that way. He'll learn from it, right? But again, we're talking about 5 weeks into the left tackle spot. It was inevitable for him to go through these ups and downs.
I agree, big time.
Yeah,
because we knew he was a right tackle. We knew he was going to be a project. The thing is, he had that upside of athleticism, rare athleticism, as well as I'm not sure how strong he is, but obviously he was, I think, pretty strong for college, not necessarily strong that, not necessarily like Tyler Smith as far as strength.
Oh, yeah, he ain't Tyler Smith strength, but I mean, dude's 6'8", 330 pounds, so he got some strength to him.
Uh-huh. Well, I'll let you go, and I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Good call, man.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I want to look. They definitely run to the right a whole lot. 10, 16, 22, 37 rushes to the right. 17 to the left. For Rico. I'm just specifically talking about Rico. And again, I would imagine that has a lot to do with because you trust Terrence Steele, Zach Martin to execute what they do. Because a couple years ago, right, when this whole duo thing kind of blew up with the Cowboys, it was Terrence and Zach just mowing dudes down. That was 2-3 years ago. 21, 22, both. 2-3 years ago. Obviously Terrence coming off the ACL, although I think he's back to his athletic ability. Zach is up there in age. He's not, God like Zach anymore. Now, Tyler Biadasz, who was here and knew his responsibilities. And while he was not great last year at getting to the second level, prior to that, he wasn't as egregious with it. Connor McGovern was there at one point, and then you had All-Pro Ty Smith again prior to last year. So different line, right? You didn't have rookies, you have veterans, and that was just the design. And I thought they just rolled with that same thing in 2023, but it did not fit who you were in the backfield. Running power run game with Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle was absolutely idiotic. There was so much gap stuff. They were terrible at the traps and pulls. They weren't moving dudes consistently. It just didn't make any sense. And then when they start running more zone with Tony Pollard, what happened? Tony Pollard started playing a little bit better, right? Rico Dowdle had his best game, and a lot of those was some zone type of concepts too. In fact, when we broke that down on Tape Tuesday, that Giants game, the Cowboys ran more zone blocking scheme in that game than any other time. Now, it depends on how you want to do it. I'm not a big inside zone guy with this group. They're a bit sloppy to me, but I love the stretch zone, love the wide zone. Again, I'm biased. I'm biased. I'm sorry. I think there's way more you can build off of it. It allows you to get under center as well, and you can still execute it out of shotgun, out of pistol, out of different looks, and build things off of it. The way Dallas runs the ball, if they're just going to do straight man power stuff, I don't think it's going to work right now. I don't think it's going to work. Good stuff, man. Really good stuff today. I hope y'all enjoyed. Let me go to these super chats, though. Big Mex.
Super chat.
Dropped 2 and said, all Marv shoes zip up on the side. What? Shoes zip up on the side. Big Max, what you doing? Appreciate the super, dog.
Super chat.
We don't wipe them 304. Shouts out to you. Ain't seen you in a minute, bro. Dropped 2 and said, Orlovsky is beta. Yeah, let me say this. I will address this part briefly. What he said in regards to, well, I'm not one to critique a Hall of Fame quarterback because I was a backup. Brother, you just dug yourself in a deep hole. Because now, technically, you shouldn't be talking about any starter. And what's sad is, and see, this is why I don't like the kid. Like, when he's breaking stuff down from a quarterback, like, he's really good at that. That's why he got popular. It wasn't because he was coming at the Cowboys or anything. He was like, yo, this is different. We don't see this on TV all the time. Breaking it down with enthusiasm and taking you behind the helmet. Like, yeah. And then he fell for what they mostly fall for there. But yeah, saying that to me, bro, like, oh, I can't critique him. He's a Hall of Famer. What? Yes, you can. Weird. Coleman Show dropped 5.
Super chat.
He said Overshown is going to be something nasty in the NFL. Tolbert and Rico came to play. Yeah, man. Overshown, just from the word go, when I dove into that kid, I was like, oh, he got something to him, man. He got that figure it out. He gonna figure it out, man. He's done more than just figure it out. I definitely think he's the next guy on his defense, right? That's one thing about the Cowboys. They'll draft a guy who's that next guy. Bland showed up to be that next guy. Diggs, right? Micah. There's always D-Law. There's always that next guy. I feel like Overshown could be that next guy for sure. And then Smoke one for you drop.
Super chat.
2, appreciate you. Said, dang, Sky, Robert Saleh was fired from the Jets. Wow. Not really shocking, right? I probably shouldn't say it's shocking because he probably was on the hot seat. And you saw Aaron Rodgers a couple games kind of just with weird behavior towards him. But that's Aaron Rodgers. But that was strange. Like, as the head coach, when your quarterback is coming to the sideline, pushing you off and trying to calm you, it's like, wow. I mean, if you ain't lose the locker room, you lost him. And if you lost him, you probably lost the locker room. But the Jets are a mess. That ain't my problem. Ain't my problem. Can we spam Micah as a linebacker? Man, I really wish when he came back they do more moving him around. I do. And we talked about this on the phone with one of the callers. I had a bug to pick with, a gripe to pick with some fans, and I should have saw it coming. Because I knew this damn team could play the Steelers' rush game very well, but I should have known when that happened there was going to be a sector of fans. Oh, man, look what they did without Mike and Tank. We don't need them out there. Oh, here we go, Jim. Let's trade them. Relax. As if you didn't see these boys literally just hold a NFL football team to the 6th best run defense in franchise history in a single game. With them out there. And just for good measures, not that I needed to. Because you got people saying, oh, well, Micah he wasn't playing his response. Oh, D-Law wasn't playing. I went back and watched every single run snap. I'm going to say it again. Y'all motherfuckers need to pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. When the dude is playing like they want him to play, and he's been doing it all year, he's not going to be a playmaker like that. It's just not going to happen. Not in the run game. Because it's not designed for your ends to be the playmakers. Now, once you rush, that's a different story. But yeah, I had a bug to pick, man. That bugged me. I'm going to do one more refresh. And we good. Bet. Look. If you enjoyed Tape Tuesday, hit the like button on the way out. Share this to the Cowboy fans and friends and family that don't know where to go yet. Still trying to figure out a home for their Cowboys kind of banter or mornings or whatever, right? And are kind of fed up with the debate, talk show stuff that they see on the big networks, which again, look, get your bread. All right, get your monies, man. But yeah, it's a little different. A little different around these parts. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and hit this button, get up out of here tomorrow or tonight. Maybe. I don't know when he's going to drop it. Look out for me with Vach. I believe in B. Tomorrow, I'm also doing something with a Lions creator. Once I get the link, I'll shoot that to you guys as well. And we're turning the page, man. Turn the page to Detroit. Because this one right here, as much as I think the Steelers game, dub, backs against the wall, all the injuries, like that's amazing, no doubt about it. You needed to have it. This now could be one of those victories where you go, oh, could catapult you. It could catapult you because when you go look at the rest of the schedule, at least for that short next 3 to 5 games, might be the best team you're going to see in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Might be the best team you're going to see. So you beat the best team, you got even more momentum. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow and figure out how to exactly do that. Hit this damn button.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Is it live, Vach? If it's live, even better. We live? If not, and we're recording, that's cool. I'll share a link once you edit it up. Wait to see if it's live. He'll let me know here in a second. We out of here. Love y'all. Peace.
Bomb Squad!